As according to the dictionary, genre is a category of artistic endeavor having a particular form, content, or technique. In film, genre can be broken down into a set of iconographical conventions that films within a said genre display. A viewer's association with these icons within a certain genre can be described in film analysis as iconography. These icons you expect to see are already symbolic because of their repetition across other films within the particular genre. Iconography can be broken down into two different forms, the first being outer forms. As said by Grant in 2007, iconography refers to the particular objects, archetypical characters, and even specific actors. In the Western, the cowboy who dresses all in black and wears two guns holstered tied to either thigh is invariably a villainous gunfighter. When you begin asking why he wears black and chooses to terrorize, you find the icon's inner forms. After years of high-grossing films through the 50s and 60s, the Western genre in Hollywood grew stale. Each narrative was built off a template and the morals of the hero were plainly black and white. To the dismay of American critics, Sergio Leone's new spaghetti western films were a breath of fresh air. Whilst Hollywood westerns were talking about American history, taking the western outside of America caused controversy due to its testing of western cliches. Leone released the first spaghetti western film and box office smash hit A Fistful of Dollars in 1964. I'll be discussing how this spaghetti western film differs from the typical Hollywood western through critically analysing its iconographical features of its protagonist and music. On the surface, A Fistful of Dollars borrows from many western outer forms, but nothing is exactly the same. Instead of Americans vs Indians, it's Americans vs Europeans. Instead of the barren American Wild West, it's the Spanish desert. Viewers tend to associate these general symbols with westerns, but where the main differences lie are in its protagonist, the gunslinger. The true contrast of this character type lives within its core. He's shown in spaghetti westerns to be more morally ambiguous and unpredictable in comparison to their Hollywood equivalent. A Fistful of Dollars' protagonist, the stranger, is a direct reflection of this change in morality and character motives. In an initial scene, the stranger is informed by Silvanito, the town's innkeeper, about a battle for power between the two smuggling families, the Rojos and the Baxters. During the conversation, the stranger states to Silvanito,
"Crazy bell ringer was right. There's money to be made in a place like this."
And follows that by asking,
I tell you, don't try it. Which one of the two is the stronger?
This displays the protagonist's true intentions to make a profit out of this town and its wealthy smuggling families, no matter the cost or consequences. If A Fistful of Dollars was a Hollywood western, the protagonist would become the hero through saving the townspeople from whatever disturbance they were facing. However, the film changed this dynamic, with the protagonist becoming the disturbance, instigating a fight between the two already tensed smuggling families. Essentially, a Hollywood western often demonstrates a protagonist with a hero complex, while spaghetti westerns tend to portray their protagonists as anti-heroes.
You mean you don't admire peace?
It's not really easy to like something you know nothing about.
Another key difference between the two western types is the music, specifically their use of music. When you recall a western's music, you may often think of the whistling theme, which is the theme song of the final film in the Dollars trilogy, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Before Leone and his composer changed the western sound, the genre in Hollywood was using stately orchestral scores as a background sound to dialogue. Morricone instead borrowed a European energy and dynamism in his film scores to build to a climax in place of dialogue. In the soundtrack of A Fistful of Dollars, traditional Spanish instruments are used to create a truly authentic European feeling within the film. In one of the final scenes of the film, during the standoff between the Rojos and the stranger, the music plays a loud trumpet riff that crescendos guitar in order to add suspense to the final battle. With a stretched out scene that uses little to no dialogue, the music encapsulates the climax of the scene where the stranger wins the fight. How does the spaghetti western film A Fistful of Dollars differ from a typical Hollywood western? Through the analysis, I identified two specific iconographic differences between the genres that were the protagonist, aka the gunslinger, and the music. Through the citing of specific examples, I was able to determine where and why these differences were placed in order to make the films a spaghetti western and not a Hollywood western.
Tell me, why are you doing this for us?
$500?